Have you ever wondered why some group projects just click and you get an A plus, while others end in total chaos with one person doing all the work at 2 in the morning? Yeah. You've got the procrastinator driving the planner absolutely insane. You've got the big idea person clashing with the detail person. It is a nightmare. But what if the secret to that A plus isn't just about working harder, but about understanding a hidden superpower? What if you could actually decode your team's operating system? Well, in this explainer, we're unlocking what I like to call MBTI magic to turn your next group project from a disaster into an absolute masterpiece. Let's get into it.
Oh, that ceiling, that sinking feeling of dread when the professor says, okay, get into groups. It's pretty much universal. And honestly, for a very, very good reason.
And studies on this stuff confirm exactly what we all feel in our bones. You've got the slacker who totally vanishes until the day before it's due. That's what researchers call social loafing. Then there's the dominator who just steamrolls every single idea that isn't their own. You add in some poor communication, a workload that somehow lands all on one person's shoulders, and yep, you've got the perfect recipe for that 3 a.m. panic right before the deadline.
But here's the thought that changes everything. What if the problem isn't that your teammates are lazy or dumb or just plain difficult? What if you're all just speaking completely different languages? You're operating on different systems. The real problem isn't the people, it's the lack of a translator.
So this is where a tool like the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or MBTI, can be kind of like a secret weapon. I want you to think of it less like some rigid scientific diagnosis and more like a user manual for your teammates. It's the key to finally finding a common language. Now, the most important word on this slide is preferences. The MBTI isn't about how smart you are or what skills you have. It's just about what feels most natural to you. And let's be super clear, this is not astrology for the classroom. It's just a framework to start a really productive conversation about how you each work best.
Okay, so first up is energy. Where do you get your best ideas? Well, extroverts get fired up by a group brainstorm. They literally think out loud. Introverts, on the other hand, they need quiet time to process everything. They do their absolute best thinking before the meeting ever starts. See? Neither one is better, but you can already see how a loud, on-the-spot brainstorm session might feel amazing for one and totally draining for the other.
Next, information. How do you actually process the assignment? Sensing types are your realists. They're the ones who've already read the grading rubric 5 times and are asking, okay, what's our step-by-step plan? Intuitive types, they're the opposite. They're chasing that big, creative, wow factor idea. They're trying to see the whole forest, while the sensing types are making sure every single tree is perfectly in place. And what about making decisions? Well, thinking types make choices based on pure objective logic. They'll point out a flaw in an idea because their main goal is getting the best possible result. But a feeling type might hear that direct critique and see it as a personal attack because they prioritize team harmony and making sure everybody feels good and included. And finally, structure. This is a big one. Judging types absolutely love a plan. They want deadlines, checklists, a clear path forward. It makes them feel calm and in control. Perceiving types, though, they thrive on flexibility. They want to keep their options open and adapt as they go. For them, a super rigid plan can feel like a creative straitjacket.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty amazing, right? A roadmap to understanding your team. But before we get carried away, we have to do a quick reality check. What does the science actually say about the MBTI?
And right, here's the twist. While the MBTI is wildly popular in business and a lot of places, many academic researchers are, well, they're skeptical. This quote comes from a study that points out some real issues with its statistical reliability over time. So it's a powerful tool for conversation, but it doesn't always hold up to the strictest scientific standards. In academic psychology, a model called the Big Five is usually considered the gold standard. So, just to be totally transparent, we're not using the MBTI today as a scientific diagnosis. We're using it as something else, something much more practical.
So, if it's not perfect science, you might be asking, why even bother with it? Because its true power isn't about getting 4 letters right. It's about giving your team a simple, shared language to have a much, much better conversation. The goal here is not to put people in a box. It's to finally understand that the person who needs a super detailed plan isn't annoying. They just have a judging preference. The person who needs to think alone for a bit isn't being uncollaborative. They're just an introvert. That respect for each other's natural style, that's the real superpower.
So, how do you actually use this? You play to your team's natural strengths. Your judging types are born planners. Let them build the timeline and keep everyone on track. Your sensing types are the perfect detail checkers. They will catch every typo and make sure you've met every single requirement on that rubric. The intuitives can be your creative directors, and your feeling types make fantastic mediators, ensuring the team actually works as a team. And, once you start understanding these different languages, you can actually see the most common conflicts coming and stop them before they completely derail your project.
Oh, this is the classic clash. The planner, your J type, is getting super stressed because the clock is ticking and nothing is nailed down. Meanwhile, the improviser, your P type, feels totally suffocated and creatively blocked by all the pressure. They're both frustrated and both feel like the other person just doesn't get it.
So here's the solution. The planner creates a schedule, but it has flexible mini deadlines built in. This gives the planner the structure they desperately need to feel calm, while giving the improviser the freedom to explore and be creative within those looser boundaries. It's a win-win that honors both styles.
And here's another one you've probably seen. The critic, your thinking type, gives direct, logical feedback because they just want to make the project better. But the harmonizer, your feeling type, hears that as a personal attack. They feel dismissed, and suddenly the whole team morale just plummets. The fix here is all about communication. The critic can learn to soften their delivery, to critique the idea, not the person. And the harmonizer can learn to see that feedback for what it is, just a tool to make the work better, not an insult. Honestly, this one little shift can save a team from totally imploding. So let's put all of this together. How do you take this theory and actually turn into that A-plus project? It's all about following a really simple blueprint.
Okay, step 1, identify preferences. You don't have to force everyone to take a test. Just ask simple questions. Hey, are you more of a big picture person or a detail person? Do you like to plan everything out or just go with the flow? Step 2, assign roles based on those strengths. And step 3, communicate mindfully. Instead of getting frustrated, you can now say something like, hey, I know you're a J, so I made a quick outline to help us get started. Game changer. Because at the end of the day, the real secret to crushing your next group project isn't about having the right personality type. It's about having the right conversation, one that's built on understanding and mutual respect. So, I want to hear from you. If you've had a group project nightmare, drop the story in the comments below and let's see if we can figure out what went wrong using these ideas. And if you want more practical advice to crush your studies, make sure to subscribe.